Hi, welcome back. All right, we're on our last video. So thank you very much for spending this time with me and for sticking it out through to the end. Let's get through this one and then we can go do other things. All right, so this one is looking at when we need to make a decision as to whether or not we might want to eliminate a segment. And a segment in this case is going to be a product. All right, so we've got three products now, product A, product B, and product C. And we have all the information, our sales information, our costs, all of that. And we know that product A makes us net income of $44,000. All right, that seems pretty good. Product B makes us net income of $480,000. That seems really good. Product C is operating at a loss. They're losing $105,000 a year. So our first inclination is going to be to say, well, get rid of it. Get rid of product C, and then we will make more money. But let's see if that's true. Because when you think about it, each of our products within their product costs have embedded not only their direct costs or their variable costs, but also the fixed costs that are allocated. And so if we eliminate a product, we have to consider that those fixed costs will then have to be allocated to the other products. So if we eliminate product C, the fixed costs in our operation will have to be allocated to product A and product B. Okay, so our first step when we do our analysis is going to be to look at our costs and decide if they are avoidable or unavoidable. Meaning, if we no longer produce product C, will we be able to avoid those costs? We won't incur them. Or are they unavoidable, meaning that we'll still incur the cost, they'll just have to be allocated to product A or product B. All right, so let's go through. Let's start with direct materials. We're not doing this for sales, even though there's boxes there. Okay, so for direct materials, so if we don't make product C, then we don't need to buy materials for product C because we're not making it. So the direct materials for product C are avoidable. Direct labor. The direct labor is also avoidable. If we're not making product C, then we do not need to pay for the direct labor. Now, this is assuming that we can either use those employees somewhere else or that we have the ability to lay them off or fire them, which, isn't a great thought, but we're accountants and we're dealing with the numbers, and sometimes the human side gets lost. But anyway, that would be a non-financial component of this decision. So, but from a financial perspective, we are assuming we could avoid the entire $200,000. All right, variable overhead. We would not have to incur the variable overhead because that's based on the number of products we make, and we wouldn't be making the products. Our fixed overhead, however, is an allocated cost, and it is unavoidable because it may be our rent, or it may be depreciation on machinery that we own, or it could be the plant manager's salary. But for whatever reason, those are costs that we actually would still incur. All right, so then going down, our variable selling. If we're not selling it, we're certainly not paying our any commissions, so that's avoidable. But our fixed selling, this might be more like a sales manager who oversees all of the sales team for products A, B, and C. So that person's salary would be unavoidable. And our admin expenses, that's our allocated share of the accountants, the lawyers, the HR people, the CEO, and that is unavoidable. We're still going to have to pay that. All right, so now we've split our costs into avoidable and unavoidable. So our avoidable costs, we're going to sum these up. Our avoidable costs are going to be $415,000. Our unavoidable costs are going to be $190,000. All right, so what do we do with that? So now we're going to compare our sales with our avoidable costs. So we had 3 steps here. Our first step, split costs into avoidable and unavoidable. We've done that. Then we need to calculate sales minus avoidable costs. So our sales for product C, remember this is just for product C, are $500,000, and our avoidable costs are $415,000. So our sales minus our avoidable costs are $85,000. Okay, so that means that our contribution margin basically is $85,000. That means that by producing product C, we have $85,000 with which to absorb some of our fixed costs. If we got rid of product C, our overall net income would decrease by $85,000 because these unavoidable costs, the $190,000, would have to get allocated to products A and B. Our company would not be able to avoid paying those. So even though product C looks like it makes a loss, in reality, the reason it's operating at a loss is because of those fixed costs being allocated to it. And without those fixed costs, it's actually making a profit of $85,000. So now we know that we, in fact, are not going to get rid of product C because product C is generating a contribution margin of $85,000. And if we got rid of product C, our net income overall as a company would decrease by $85,000. All right, so when we go talk to the product C product manager, obviously we're not going to tell him or her this. We're going to say, hey, your product isn't doing a good job. We need you to do better. But we know as managers sitting in our ivory tower that we actually like product C because it helps our company to make more money. All right, that's a wrap, guys. This is our last video. Thank you for working through the unit, and I will see you next week.